What if one of the most powerful things you could do for your well-being as a caregiver was to slow down and actually taste your food? Because nourishing your body is important, but nourishing your presence at the table, that's simply transformational. Hello, lovely souls, and welcome back to Radiant Moments, a J&B podcast. I'm Michelle, your host, and I'm truly grateful you've taken this moment for yourself today. Before we dive in, I invite you to take a deep breath in. Hold it and let it go slowly. One more time, inhale deeply and release. This moment is yours. No lists, no pressure, no expectation. Just a space to reconnect with yourself, your body, and a quieter part of your day. If you're a caregiver, mealtimes often fall last on your list. Maybe they're eaten cold, in between appointments, or standing over a sink while you're multitasking. But today, we're flipping that script. Mindful eating isn't about perfect meals or strict rules. It's about presence. It's about reclaiming one of the most frequent, ordinary things we do, eating, and letting it become a point of calm and nourishment. The caregiver meal trap, when food becomes a forgotten need. Let's start with something most caregivers don't say out loud. Eating can feel like just another task on a never-ending list. Or worse, a burden. You're prepping meals while juggling everything. School drop-offs, therapies, appointments, medications, maybe even blending specific textures or navigating allergy protocols. And in the midst of that, you're expected to provide nourishment with love and care, often while completely bypassing your own. And let's be honest, what does your meal actually look like most days? Are you picking at your child's leftovers while standing at the sink? Skipping breakfast because of the morning chaos? Reaching for whatever's closest at 9 p.m. when your body finally reminds you it's starving? Or eating in the car, distracted and depleted in between all of the must-dos? This isn't laziness. It's not a lack of discipline or poor choices. This is survival mode, and it's something so many caregivers live with every single day. But here's the deeper truth. When we live in this cycle for too long, always putting our needs last, it starts to take a toll. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Our digestion suffers, our moods dip, our energy crashes, we forget what it feels like to truly enjoy food, or even recognize hunger as cues that matter. And that's why the pause, however small, matters so much. Every time you stop to eat with presence, even if it's just one bite or a sip of tea, you're reminding your nervous system, I exist. I deserve care too. You're not just feeding your body, you're feeding your worth. And no, you don't need a gourmet meal or an hour of silence to do it. You just need the intention to come back to yourself, one small pause at a time. Let me take you back to a moment that's etched in my memory, a moment that changed how I saw myself in this caregiving journey. We were in the thick of medical chaos. My son was going through back-to-back procedures, hospital stays, specialists, feeding challenges, you name it. Everything I had went to supporting him and eating. Nourishing myself, that was the last thing on my mind. In those moments of crisis, it never occurred to me just how much that neglect was costing me. The weight it added to my fatigue, the way it dulled my ability to think clearly, how it quickly chipped away at my emotional resilience. I always ate last, if I ate at all. My job as I saw it was to make sure everyone else was fed, supported, and thriving. But what I was missing, something huge, my own nourishment, wasn't a luxury, it was a requirement for my sustainability. I was always rushing, never present, and here's a simple truth. I don't even like cold toast, yet cold toast had become my meal of choice, if you could call it that. More often than not, it just sat there, forgotten on the counter while I juggled everything else. And then the symptoms started. Headaches that just wouldn't go away. Nausea, vomiting, fatigue that felt bone deep. Unwanted weight loss. My body was waving every red flag it had, and still I didn't listen. Until I literally had no choice. The breaking point came when I found myself in the kitchen, about to force down that same cold toast out of habit. I paused, I looked at it, and I felt this wave of grief, not just for the toast, but for the version of me that had accepted this was enough. That day, I made a decision. I gave myself permission to pause, to eat food that was warm, to sit down, breathe, and be present. But the truth is, it didn't flip like a switch, because the other side of this cycle was just as damaging. When I didn't eat, I'd crash hard, and then I'd grab whatever was easiest, takeaway, processed snacks, food that didn't serve me or fuel me. That only made the symptoms worse. Eventually, I realized balance wasn't a nice to have, it was urgent, and the only person who could make it a priority was me. Now, I still slip, I still rush sometimes, but I always pause, I sit, I taste, and I remind myself that I deserve nourishment too. Not just so I can care better for my loved ones, but because I matter. Full stop. Now, what is mindful eating and why does it matter? Let's reframe something right here. Mindful eating isn't about perfection. It's not about beautifully plated meals or never grabbing a snack in the car. It's about presence. It's about returning to yourself, even for just a moment, in the middle of everything else. So what does that really mean? Mindful eating is reconnecting with your body's signals, those subtle messages of hunger, satisfaction, or even discomfort that often gets drowned out by all the noise of caregiving. Noticing the texture, temperature, smell, and taste of your food, not to analyze, but to actually experience it. Even something as simple as a bite of toast or a sip of tea becomes an anchor to the present. Turning into how your body feels as you eat without judgment. Are you ravenous, hesitant, soothed, distracted? Mindful eating allows you to notice things without having to fix them. Creating gentle space between the act of eating and the motion behind it so you can respond rather than react. Maybe you're not actually hungry. Maybe you're anxious, tired, or overwhelmed. And noticing that creates choice. So why does this matter, especially for caregivers? Because mindful eating isn't just about food, it's about restoring a relationship with yourself, and that often gets lost in the care of others. Here's what can shift when you start practicing, even in tiny ways. Digestion improves, you chew more, rush less, and your body has time to do what it's meant to do. Satisfaction increases. When you're present, even a simple meal can feel comforting and complete. Your emotional clarity builds. You begin to notice patterns when you skip meals, when you snack from stress, when you eat without tasting, and you can respond with compassion instead of criticism. Your calm returns. Even one intentional bite can interrupt the stress loop and ground you back into your body. Mindful eating becomes more than a habit. It becomes a moment of worth, of presence. Because when you sit down and say, I deserve to eat, I deserve to enjoy this, you're not just feeding your body, you're feeding your soul. Now, here are some strategies for mindful meal preparation. Let's be real, meal prep can feel like just one more thing, but a few small shifts can make it easier to eat mindfully without adding to your plate. I want you to try this. Plain light. A simple weekly meal sketch, not a rigid plan, can ease decision fatigue. Batch with intention. On days when you have energy, double a recipe and freeze a portion for survival mode days. Simplify everything. Think 5 ingredients or less. One-pan meals, what's easiest, not what's trendiest. Lean on tools, slow cookers, pre-cut veggies, frozen staples. These are wins, not shortcuts. Make it a moment. Invite your loved one to stir or sprinkle herbs. Even tiny interactions can create presence and connection. Mindful meal prep isn't about being perfect. It's about making things just a little gentler on you, your time, and your energy. Navigating challenges in mindful eating. Let's be honest, some days it will feel impossible. The guilt creeps in, the distractions pile up, the exhaustion wins. Here are a few gentle reminders. If you can only manage one mindful bite, start there. If you eat standing up today, pause to breathe while chewing. If emotions feel heavy, try journaling before or after a meal to explore what's really being fed. No judgment, no shame, just grace for yourself in the process. Integrating mindfulness into daily life. You can extend mindful eating beyond the plate. Try mindful snacking, applying the same presence to quick bites as you would a full meal. Gratitude rituals. Before meals, thank the hands that made the food, yours included. Reflection. How did you feel before and after the meal? More grounded? More aware? You're not just feeding a body, you're reconnecting with a deeper part of yourself, and that is worth honoring. Try this, the mindful sip practice. Let's take one moment right now for a shared pause. Grab whatever you're drinking, water, tea, or juice. Hold it in your hands. Feel the temperature. Bring it to your lips and take one slow sip. Let it rest on your tongue and swallow slowly. Notice what it feels like going down. That's it. You just nourished yourself mindfully. Your affirmation. I deserve to pause. I deserve to be present. I deserve to be nourished. You are not just a caregiver. You are a human being with needs, cravings, and a deep capacity for connection. Reclaiming even one mindful moment a day is not selfish, it's sacred. Check out the show notes for your free Mindful Eating for Caregivers toolkit with gentle prompts, affirmations, and simple rituals to guide your practice. And if you're craving more support and connection, I invite you to join the JMB Oasis membership and community. Our waitlist is open now. We're here to walk this path with you, with empathy, insight, and encouragement. In episode 40, we're diving into allergy-friendly cooking, simplifying ingredients, reducing overwhelm, and reclaiming joy in safe, inclusive meals. Until next time, stay radiant, stay grounded, and keep shining your light bright.